Sai Ram. As far as my memory goes, on the walls of many Sai devotee homes is a beautiful quotation and message. It says, Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba is the head of this family, a silent listener in every conversation, an unseen guest at every meal. Every time I see this message, I feel happy, and I feel that it is a very creative way in expressing Swami's presence and Swami's importance in our life. But on deeper introspection, we realize that this message carries something very, very profound, something that will make us open our eyes and hearts in awe and wonder. It is a reminder of Swami's constant and complete presence in our lives, whether we are eating, sleeping, whether we are talking, dining, whatever we are doing. This message got reinforced in me recently through two stories that I read. The first one is narrated by brother Sri Krishna in this special book, Sai Chandana, which was released by the staff and students of Swami's institutions for Bhagwan's 85th birthday in 2010. The incident goes like this. It was sometime late in the year 2000 when one night Sri Krishna's father, Mr. Hari Krishna, met with a severe accident and his skull got shattered. It was on a lonely stretch of the road and therefore no one was around to help him. Finally, one kindly gentleman picked him up and got him admitted in the hospital. Later on, he somehow managed to find the contact number and called the family, and around 3:30 a.m., the family got to know of this accident. They rushed to the hospital and came to know that the father was in very, very bad trauma, bad condition. It had required more than 18 stitches to stop the bleeding of the brain, and the doctor said that morning would be the last day the father would probably see, because so severe were his injuries. What happened next is something so beautiful and sublime. Imagine the look of shock on everybody's faces when just an hour or so later, at 5 a.m., 5 in the morning, the father wakes up, gets up from the bed and starts walking around in the ICU. Everyone was shocked when the next day the father actually walked out of the hospital. They had expected him to be carried out in a coffin or to his grave or to his funeral, but he walked out. And as they were walking out of the hospital, the mother and the son saw a beautiful photograph of our Bhagwan at the entrance of the hospital. Thinking that he was a saint, because they were not aware and not heard of Swami, they just bowed down, prostrated, and they were walking out. And again, Swami's master plan was such that a devotee comes up to these people and starts telling them about the miracles and glories and stories of Swami. The mother instantly gave her heart to Swami. She became a believer, a devotee. She took a picture of Baba to her home and began to worship Swami regularly. The interesting thing is, though the father had been saved and had come out alive in such miraculous circumstances, he refused to believe in the divinity of Swami. And so he would always get irritated and upset whenever he saw his wife worshipping Swami. This went on for several weeks and months. On one occasion, there erupted a quarrel and a fight between husband and wife because the father was very upset that the mother was worshipping Swami. In his anger, he picked up a plate and threw it at her. She defended herself by putting out her hands, and the plate hit her hand so hard. She shouted out, "Sai Ram!" Interestingly, there wasn't even a scratch on her palms. Nothing happened. It was as if the entire impact of the plate had been like that of cotton. The father immediately realized what he had done and he just calmed himself down, and that was it for that moment. That night, the mother had a dream in which Swami came and told her to come to him. He said, "I am waiting for you, come to me to Puttaparthi." And so on waking up, she told the father that Swami had come in my dream. He told us to go to Puttaparthi, let us all go. To her pleasant surprise, he agreed without a protest. And that is how early in the year 2001, the entire family came to Puttaparthi. In Puttaparthi, as they sat for darshan, again, very interestingly, Swami comes to the father during the darshan rounds and picks him up for an interview. Only the father, not the mother or the son who are devotees. The non-devotee is picked up. Who can understand the leelas of the Lord? In the interview room, the father sits near Swami, and Swami is having a look of seriousness and yet is oozing great love towards the father. He tells him, "Is that the way the head of a family should behave? Does that befit you, being a good husband and a good father, to get angry like that?" And even as the guilt is eating away at the father, Swami shows his palms, and on his palm is a big cut. And Swami says, "You threw that plate at her, correct? I took over the injury." Seeing Swami's injured palm, the father broke down. Swami said, "See, if you get angry and upset on Swami, you scold Swami and you hurt Swami. Don't take out your anger on your wife." Swami said, "Irrespective of what you do to me, I love you because you do a lot of service to the poor people." Multiple messages are there here, dear brothers and sisters. One of Swami's omniscience, omnipresence. The other is how dear the service of poor is for Swami. Manav Seva, Madhav Seva, Jana Seva, Janardana Seva, Nara Seva, Narayana Seva, Grama Seva, Rama Seva. Now the father melted and he said, "Swami, please forgive me. I was wrong. I will never ever do that." Needless to say, the father Hari Krishna became a devotee. Later on, his son too joined the higher secondary school, and that's how he penned this article in Sai Chandana. But you know, Swami's love, Swami's omniscience and omnipresence is not just restricted to people. Let me take you back in time to the 24th of November 1972. The birthday celebrations had just concluded and Swami was blessing all the devotees, bidding them goodbye as they packed their belongings, getting ready to leave after those magnificent celebrations. Among the devotees were a group of people who had come from the city of Guwahati in the northeastern Indian state of Assam. Swami was giving them Padanamaskar and distributing Vibhuti packets to all of them. As he was moving amidst them, he came to a girl whose name was Lakhi. He gave Lakhi also a few Vibhuti packets. Moving ahead, he suddenly stopped, turned back, came to Lakhi and gave her a few more Vibhuti packets. And then in Hindi, he told her, "Ye billi ke liye," meaning, "This is for the cat." Even as Swami said that, Lakhi was so overwhelmed with emotion and tears of joy and gratitude flowed from her eyes. She nodded in agreement to Swami and touched his feet. What had happened that brought such a reaction from Lakhi? Lakhi recollected that almost 6 months earlier, something had happened. She had a cat by the name Minki. Now, Minki she had found near a drain on a rainy day. Minki, the little kitten, was shivering there and she brought it home in order to, take care of the cat as her own pet. Now, Lakhi's elder sister did not like this cat at home, so she constantly kept telling Lakhi that this cat is not a pet, it's a pest, it will cause so much trouble, headache, and she should get rid of it. But Lakhi didn't do that. She named the cat as Minki and took loving care of her Minki. But she had to ensure that Minki didn't do any mischief. A few months later, Minki indeed did a mischief. When there was a feast, a party at home, all guests had been invited, Minki climbed up the dining table and, unable to resist her temptation, she dug into a dish that was made for the guests. This upset Lakhi's sister, who scolded Lakhi, which upset Lakhi, and Lakhi decided to teach Minki a lesson. So she picked up a stick and hit Minki. Minki mewed in pain, and even as she mewed in pain, it felt as if an earthquake had struck the house. All the photographs of Swami that were hanging on the walls in the dining area and the other rooms shook and fell down. Everybody was shocked, and they really thought that an earthquake had struck. That is when Lakhi realized that it was her Swami telling her that what she did was wrong. She immediately took up Minki. Even before putting Swami's photographs back on the wall, she picked up Minki and she apologized to the cat. It almost took 5-6 months for the injuries of the cat to heal. In that meantime, they had travelled to Prashantinilayam, and here was Swami showering his grace not only on Lakhi but also on Minki. Dear brothers and sisters, when we have Swami's photograph like this at our home, let us realize that he is living with us, eating with us, breathing with us, talking to us, listening in on everything we speak. Living in this awareness, it shouldn't be just an awareness, it should be a constant awareness. It shouldn't be just a constant awareness, it should be a constant integrated awareness. There is a lot of difference between awareness, constant awareness, and constant integrated awareness, and Swami taught that lesson also to me in a very interesting manner that is recorded in this link above. And that is why at my home I try to keep Swami's photograph in every room, in every living space, so that I can remind myself of his presence, and I can behave myself and conduct myself in the same way as I would behave and conduct myself in his physical presence. Dear Swami, may we always be aware, constantly and integratedly, of your presence, your eternal presence in our lives. May our love for you keep growing stronger every passing moment. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.